Welcome, everyone, to yet another one of these essay videos. Before I start, we gotta do question of the day again. I want you to tell me, what do you think of Genshin's music? Now last time, I kinda ended up roasting Genshin a whole bunch, which made quite a few people quite mad. I still don't understand it though, because I'm literally just voicing my dissatisfaction with the stuff I mentioned in the video. Provided evidence to my claims, and while some of you made good points, I still stand my ground. Genshin is a really good game, sure, but it has many flaws that we can all benefit from them getting fixed. Nature's just has almost all of these flaws fixed. I don't understand. That's why I kinda soft quit Genshin. By which I mean, I only follow the patches to see what's added, to see if there's anything that interests me. But there's still one thing about Genshin that I really love and I cannot go without. It's the music. Genshin's music truly did change my life. Although it's not some deep philosophical thing, it changed my life in a way that's slightly more noticeable than the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect rests on the notion that the world is deeply interconnected, such that one small occurrence can influence a much larger complex system. This effect is named after an allegory for chaos theory. It evokes the idea that a small butterfly flapping its wings could, hypothetically, cause a typhoon. It's also mentioned a whole load in time travel fiction and hypotheticals. Theoretically, a time traveler stepping on an ant could change the entire course of history, meaning that had I not listened and cared so much for Genshin's music, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now, making content and analyzing said music. This may seem a bit far-fetched, but Genshin's music is truly astounding, and I do believe it had a huge effect on me. I've listened to hours upon hours of it in the past 3 years, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Though it will never be as good as Amamiya Sora's music. She's my favorite musical artist by far. A really beautiful voice paired with incredible writing skills. Oh shit, I'm starting to sound like a Swiftie. Now, I want to approach this critique and analysis of Genshin's music through the eyes of a musician, specifically a pianist, because I am one myself, and I plan on one day recreating all of my favorites and playing them for you, and for myself, on a different channel. Piano on Caffeine or Caffeine and Piano or something, I don't know. I'm still relatively a beginner though, so I probably won't be going into more musical detail into the world of Genshin music than a person who's been playing piano for 15 years would. First, I want to speak briefly about Travail. Travail, if you don't know, is the name of the piece played during the Teyvat chapter storyline preview. You know, the little thing they gave us when Genshin first dropped and we hoped they'd do it again but they never did? Yes, that. You're going to hear the following phrase many times in this video, but it is absolutely one of my favorite pieces in the entire history of Genshin. 8 different styles of music, 8 different emotions, many different instruments, and lots of goosebumps and chills. From Mondstadt's optimistic hero vibe music to Liyue's hustle and bustly type music, moving on to Inazuma's epic bit, then Sumeru just blindsides you with an incredible desert theme. Every part in that piece is just better than the last, and the last 2 parts are the best. By the way, if you listen to Destly's piano adaptation of Travail, you'll appreciate it a whole lot more. It's so much better as a piano piece in my opinion. Second, I'm pretty sure this is the biggest section in the video. Let's talk about our home Mondstadt. Mondstadt's music is mainly composed with violins, pianos, and lyres, and maybe some other instruments I missed, with some vocals in some tracks, specifically the Storm Terror's lair tracks and, one of the best, Dream Aria. Dream Aria is only one of the best simply because of the incredible amount of nostalgia I get while listening to it. I just feel right at home. For many people, sadly not including me, Genshin is the first gacha game they have ever played, so listening to such beautiful, sometimes lighthearted, sometimes somber pieces of music can give strong feelings of nostalgia, and it honestly sometimes compels me to open up Genshin, but then I remember I can just listen to it on YouTube. Every time I open the Mondstadt OST album, I am reminded of the days I spent looking for animalculi and fighting hilichurls, remembering the sweet old memories when playing Genshin wasn't boring. Many of Mondstadt's OSTs have a symphonic vibe to them, the Windcatcher from a Foreign Land and Symphony of a Boreal Wind being the biggest examples. Symphony of a Boreal Wind, by the way, is absolutely the best boss theme in the entire game. Don't come at me with Ajdaha or Raiden or King Wanderer, I don't give a. This is the best. It's played in one of my favorite keys for emotional music. It's not my overall favorite, but it's still one of my favorite for emotional music. B-flat minor, which puts it in the hall of fire pieces like Adagio for Strings by Samuel Barber. Symphony of Boreal Wind starts off with a beautiful piano solo, then it adds violins, then moves on to the incredible melody with a beautiful harmony, then the arpeggios before the vocals, which just send chills down my spine every time I listen to it. Absolute peak music. Let's not forget about Dawn Winery's theme during the day and during the night, which I actually fell asleep to as white noise so many times. It's played in B minor, just like bangers like Shostakovich's Piano Sonata No. 2, and Liszt's and Strauss's sonatas in B minor. It's also one of the most popular Mondstadt OSTs, and especially beautiful when played on the piano. One of the most underrated Mondstadt tracks is Forsaken Child of Ancient Times. The vocals in this piece are so beautiful. Every time I listen to this piece, I am hit right in the feels. It's played in B minor, just like the Boreas theme. Overall, Mondstadt definitely has some of the best region music in Genshin. Its characters though, aside from Eula, sadly not so much. Eula is probably the only Mondstadt character whose OST I regularly listen to. I really love the tango style they used. I listen to Venti sometimes, but not much. Oh, I almost forgot about Tender Strength. It's the theme that plays at the end of the Mondstadt Archon quest if I remember, and also played at the end of Venti's story, if I remember correctly. It's definitely up there with my favorites too. It's played in D major, and while major keys tend to convey happier music, Tender Strength just conveys some sort of sadness. Maybe I'm wrong about it playing at the end of Venti's story, but I only remember it so because it is able to convey the sadness and, well, Tender Strength that Venti's story conveyed so well. Venti's story, by the way, was one of the few Genshin character stories I really enjoyed. I also just want to honorably mention Dragon Spy's music. I think it's probably the most underrated location in all of Genshin. I really enjoyed the days playing it and listening to its music. Spin of Ice Crystals, specifically, is one of my favorite pieces. It's played in C minor, my overall favorite key. Snowy forests and snowy places are also my favorite scenarios in games, and honestly, Dragon Spine really delivered. Back when I loved playing Genshin, I loved Dragon Spine so much more than the average player. The Mondstadt section is getting too long, so let's move on. Next, let's dive into Liyue. Liyue's region OSTs, while containing some bangers, I wouldn't know, are probably my least favorite in the game. This will probably be the shortest section of region OSTs since I don't have much to say about them. They're just mid. I don't have a single Liyue region OST I constantly listen to. The Liyue Harbor theme, while very happy-go-lucky and fun, is definitely not my favorite. The characters, though, are what define Liyue's music. The piece that actually made me start consistently listening to Genshin's music was Yaksha's Path, Xiao's theme song. While incredibly edgy, I really like it. I'm a pianist, but my second and third favorite instruments are violins and electric guitars, which exist in abundance in this track. Going to the gym with this piece on repeat is guaranteed to give you an insane pump and an insane workout, and you're guaranteed to be sore the next day. Hu Tao, Yunjin, Shenhe, Tartaglia, Yelan, all of them have bangers to their name. While Ganyu's is good though, it is also quite disappointing. She is my favorite character in Genshin, and I miss her more every day I don't play Genshin, but her OST was just okay. The reason for that is it literally just remixed one of the region OSTs. I did not enjoy it much. It's just mid. Zhongli's is also, a popular opinion by the way, quite mid as well. I just wanted to sneak that in. I don't really think it's as good as people make it out to be. It's so overrated for me. And I cannot end Liyue's section without talking about version 2.7's OST. Version 2.7 has to be one of the most fun versions in Genshin, because it not only introduced Yelan, but it also introduced one of the best stories in Genshin and one of the best OSTs as well. It's played in the F major key, and it combines a beautiful jazzy violin melody with a just as beautiful piano harmony with assisting drums and saxophones for Yelan, and ending with a dark key flute section for Kuki. It is definitely one of my top OSTs in Genshin. It is so good. Inazuma's region OSTs are arguably better than Mondstadt's OSTs, and it is definitely my top region when it comes to everything. Exploration, back when I enjoyed it, characters, music, and story. And so I'm a little biased towards its music rather than other nations, just because I like everything in it so much better. But can you blame me? Inazuma's music right from the get-go is just beautiful. It has the best region OSTs and the best character OSTs. From region bangers like Serpent Strategy and Orobashi's Teaching, to character bangers like Sara's Will of Thunder, Kokami's Tactician's Grit, and of course, the GOAT, Raiden's Termination of Desires. Not only does it have a badass name, listening to the song just makes you feel absolutely powerful. And not only does it have my top 3 favorite instruments, but it combines rock and metal vibes with traditional Japanese vibes and instruments. At least, whatever I think Japanese music sounds like. I don't know. They were aiming for it while they were making it, weren't they? I have nothing but positives to say about almost every single soundtrack that Inazuma has to offer. And while most of the region tracks cannot really be listened to at the gym, for example, they are definitely a really good listen to relax. Maybe listen while you're cooking or something, I don't know. Every single island has a unique style, from Narukami giving a foundation to the rest of the island's music and each island building its own, which eventually creates a wonderful symphony of many different styles and emotions. Inazuma's OSTs are all around very beautiful and very somber, and every time I listen to them I am rushed with an insane number of emotions, chills, goosebumps, whatever. And I've got a few of the easier ones down on the piano actually. The island with the best music for me will definitely be Yashiori, and especially the area around the serpent. There's a tetralogy of pieces that I really enjoy: Orobashi's Teaching, one I mentioned before, in A minor, Serpent's Tragedy, I also mentioned it before, in G minor, A Hollowed Skull in F major, and A Forgotten Epic in G minor. These 4 pieces are definitely my favorite out of all Inazuma region OSTs, and they speak for themselves. Just give them a listen and I guarantee you will love them. A Forgotten Epic and Serpent's Tragedy share such a beautiful melody, with each being slightly different from the other. So playing them back to back kinda gives you a rondo vibe, but they contain so many instruments that you could call it a symphony. But I'll repeat, these 4 pieces are so beautiful, and are definitely unforgettable for me. I will also mention the 2.1 OST just because it is just as, if not more epic than even Termination of Desires. Played in D minor, it combines Raiden's theme with the Watatsume Island theme with an incredible symphonic vibe. I definitely recommend giving the Inazuma OSTs a listen, definitely on the top for me. Can you tell that I really like symphonies, by the way? Now, Sumeru was when I sadly started falling off of Genshin. Fontaine was when I actually fell off of Genshin. I do know quite a bunch of Sumeru OSTs, but not many Fontaine ones. If you don't know, which you probably don't since I never mentioned it, I am Middle Eastern, specifically Syrian. And while it's not my favorite, I definitely love Middle Eastern music. It's literally my childhood, and Sumeru absolutely delivered, I think. It has so many good OSTs in both the desert and the rainforest, and the battle OST in both is incredible. But my favorite is not a region OST at all. It's actually Nilo's. This OST, for some reason, always gives me such an incredible amount of nostalgia. It reminds me of my childhood and more. It starts off so gently, but then so suddenly the beat drops only to go gentle once more as it reaches the climax of Nilo's burst. I only wish it extended the piano melody even more to said climax, but the flute is still so beautiful. It's played in C minor, which again is my favorite key, with probably the most famous classic piece on social media, Shostakovich's Waltz 2, played in it too. I do have one complaint about it though: it is so hard to learn on the piano, Desley's version at least. Anyway, I also really like Sino's Order of Silence, but it's not that memorable to me. Just a gym song. It does have a really good beat drop and the didgeridoo part is really good. I really like the powerful feeling it has and the seriousness it conveys, but it's not the best. Relatively, I don't enjoy it as much as other OSTs. Now, I wasn't going to say much about Fontaine, but I opened up the first OST album and I found some tracks that really caught my eye. Or rather, caught my ear. The first track, literally named Fontaine, which is in C major, Remembrance with Twilight, which is in B flat minor, and The Show Must Continue, which I couldn't find the key for sadly, and I don't have perfect pitch. Notice that all of these tracks that really caught my ear are waltzes. C minor is, for the 3rd time, my favorite key, but waltzes and rondos are my favorite types of pieces. Finally, onto Farina's theme. I feel it really captured the French vibe and Farina's playful personality very well, and while Genshin's music rarely has lyrical vocals, they were a welcome surprise. It's also played in G minor. I really enjoyed this OST, but I do wish it tapped into more of the dark side of Farina's story, but that might have contained spoilers, so I see why they didn't do that. Although I do like how it included everyone in Fontaine. I wish the other Archon's themes also did that.
Not going to shoot a random barrel. Why the fuck would I have...
As you can see, I have nothing but positives to say about Genshin's music. Of course, other than Liyue's regional OSTs. But overall, Genshin's music is one of the best in all of gacha gaming. Possibly in all of gaming. It is up there with Undertale, God of War 4 and 5, Doom, and Minecraft. I will always appreciate Genshin's OSTs, and I will even argue they are better than the OSTs of both Honkais. But this video is plenty long enough already, so I won't argue that right now. I had way more to say than what I thought I did. I'll make this a two-parter. I do have a load to say about Honkai's music as well. Views. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Remember to check out part 2 when it comes out later. Tell me what your thoughts down in the comments below and what you thought of this video as a whole. I want to know if you enjoyed me going into as much detail as a relatively newbie musician such as me can into the world of Genshin's music, so subscribe, stay tuned, like, comment, share with your friends, ring the bell, all of that as always, and I'll see you next time. And in part 2, bye bye.